detecting brachial plexus, torticollis, and other movement concerns. Guys, it shouldn't be up to you to catch these things. It just shouldn't. You're new parents, you're just thinking your baby went home with you, or if not, but everything is okay. I'm not here to be Debbie Downer and say things just aren't okay. What I'm here to do is to find out what's optimal for your child in regards to their movement. I can't listen to one more time where that happened to my child and they were fine. It's not your child, right? And what's their definition of fine? It might be different than your definition of fine. You need to know where your child is at. I know a lot of things from cerebral palsy to brachial plexus injuries to torticollis. People think that they need MRIs. MRIs are what's needed for the doctors. No doctor is going to diagnose or do anything on a hunch. This is the biggest problem why they can't catch autism, because they're expecting a gene to show up, to show why it suddenly went from 1 in 3,000 now to 1 in 29. Well, the gene is a movement issue. And, and this is why we've had a rapid increase of autism, because we have rapid increases of movement issues within babies. And it's got to stop, right? And I'm not seeing palpitations. I can't even get a child to get a visual examination, much less to have, a doctor know how to detect using a simple thing like the newborn movement assessment and looking at your child to see if they're ready for optimal development. That's what the newborn movement assessment is, right? I'm not here to score your child on the bad, but if you don't realize that 2 days in the NICU, some phototherapy, an infant security system, and maybe a little bit of birth trauma, which you didn't think was a big deal because, there was an APGAR score of 9, that your child might be having these issues. Guys, I'm sorry. 1/3 of our kids are in special services. It's got to lessen. It's got to stop. My mission is to eradicate special needs, but you have to understand how the medical system works, and you have to understand how we need to help our children develop. And then on top of that, then the government comes out and says, they don't need half their milestones. Let's just get rid of them. Are you out of your mind? Since cavemen, kids have been rolling over and coming to sitting through their back. We can't suddenly have this baby dictated, they'll figure it out when they will. Oh, by the way, your child's not walking by 18 months, they're probably not going to walk ever. Like, hello, surprise, or catch up. Excuse me for soapboxing, but again, you're all here because you're trying to find out what's going on with your children. You shouldn't be the ones trying to find out what's going on with your children. But unfortunately, you have to. You can't rely on, I'm not really worried, so I'm not going to send you to neurology, when you've got things that are just not adding up. The things that aren't adding up is you're not seeing progression. Babies are either progressing or they're regressing. There's no chilling out for babies, right? That's the biggest thing. When you're being told your child's not strong enough, or they'll figure it out eventually, things like that, you're getting sent up the creek because they didn't evaluate your child and there's going on. You're seeing obvious visual concerns, even though the child has directionality and they're looking at you. They might not see that you've got pretty blue eyes or something like that, or me needing to go to the hairdresser, which is going to happen tomorrow, and things like that. They might just see, there's a happy face somewhere in there, or someone's got a nice voice. And again, that's certainly not me. You know what I mean? Like, directionality is different than actually having functional vision. And when you're seeing obvious things like, the eye turning in, I was just on another board where it says that the child has esotropia, but they're able to manage around it and so forth. And, the visual examination's been horrible for this child. No, you can't go around with one eye turned in like that. It's not correct. We're expecting children to do too much, but we're also expecting parents to know way more than they're supposed to. And that's not what it's for. So brachial plexus injury is quite easy to determine. If you did your newborn movement assessment, you would see the lack of rotation. Now, I'm not looking to diagnose your child. Well, when there's no rotation within the shoulder girdle or the upper spine within that region, or going down into the elbow, your child's not going to be able to roll over to that area. They're not going to come to sitting through that area if those kind of movement combinations persist. Right? And that's what I'm trying to, it's like trying to ride your bicycle with the lock still on it, right? You've got the bike, you've got the lock, but since they're combined, it's just not going to happen. So again, and that this wait and see, and maybe next month I'll be doing it. Wait and see for what? If there's no evaluation done for your child, then there's no wait and see. If there's an evaluation done, and that, you know, again, here's your child's vision, this is where we're at, this is where we're here, let's do some light patching and stuff. And if we don't see a difference in 3 months, then we've got to step it up and maybe bring in glasses. That to me is an evaluation. That to me is a plan. But to be told your eyes are fine, let's say, and they've only checked the retina and the optic nerve, or to be told that, you know, your child, you know, just encourage, rub their arm and maybe they'll grab off to that. When it's really, again, a brachial injury of some sort, it's very common. How common is it? What you're looking at is that people don't understand. When they're taking their baby out of the vaginal canal, and I'm sorry, my baby is dressed, so it doesn't happen this way. What happens is, let's say if there's a cord, you know, just a nuchal cord issue, they might stop here and to get the cord off, or they're guiding the baby out. It doesn't take much of a thumb to cause a minor brachial injury or torticollis. And I'm not saying you're there to fault the doctor. What you need to understand, if this happens, we need to take directions on how to help the baby to move. And again, that's why you have a baby and you turn around and do the newborn movement assessment, or you do it at 6 months, or you do it at 6 years. I had a 4-year-old child. My God, she fell off the bike. You know, her C3 was out so bad, which is just beyond me. But I mean, I got her to move her head to the left or the right. And that was the argument what the parents had. Oh, she just doesn't want to do it. She's being stubborn. What 4-year-old kid doesn't want to look to the left or the right? So things can happen beyond birth. A C-section, you know, if they're coming into the belly and they're bringing the baby out like this, you've got, you know, nurse's arm right there if they don't do it correctly, if they don't come in and guide your baby out, let's say head first. It's an emergency. Things happen. These are things that you're just not an expert on, and you shouldn't be, but you should have experts around you that are looking for these things when they're not doing simple development. But as long as we allow our professionals to have baby-dictated development versus time-dictated development, these kind of gaps are going to continue, these conversations. And it's not just here on this board that you're seeking answers. You see it all over Facebook. And unfortunately, most Facebook groups are run by other parents. And so you're really not getting great advice because, again, they're not looking at videos, they're not evaluating your child. And you really have to be careful on that. I'm not saying you have to do what I'm asking you to do, but is your child being evaluated as your number one priority? And that's where the breakdown is with child development.